welcome back to another edition of the Work Shoot Alliance. I almost said Wrestlers Dozen. That's the first time I've almost done that. This week, it's February, so love is in the air, so why not talk about February tradition in the WWE, and that's the Elimination Chamber, which is totally love and harmony and peace. And hopefully, we're recording this right before the Royal Rumble, just spoilers, but I have that inkling that NXT TakeOver is going to have an Elimination Chamber match. I hope I'm right. I will be there. It's going to be great. Anyways, I think this will come out right before that, the week before TakeOver Portland. But we're getting all this stuff done, so when we're here recording for the Rumble predictions and stuff. Let's get right to it with the original Elimination Chamber Survivor Series 2002 for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was November 17th, 2002 in Madison Square Garden, which was perfect, I think, for this. It had RVD, Kane, Chris Jericho, Booker T, your current champion Triple H, and the winner, Shawn Michaels in his ugly brown tights. Because the other stuff didn't come in. He didn't realize it was going to work. 39 minutes, 20 seconds. 4.5 stars by Meltzer. Jim, what'd you think?
Couldn't have been a better storyline build up to this one. Super fantastic the way everybody went in and out. Coming down to Triple H and Shawn Michaels, I think it couldn't have been a better two to finish it. That feud had been working for a minute anyway, or building to that return match for Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels coming out on top couldn't have been a better way for a return for him either. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it was really good. I remember the build up to the match, the Elimination Chamber. Obviously a new concept, and it was really intriguing on what they were going to do and what it was going to look like, and it's still pretty epic looking to me. I like the changes they've done for safety reasons, because that steel was actually steel, and taking a bump on that, even a hip toss would...
Well, it's funny. They actually changed it due to weight problems, because they couldn't use 80% of the arenas because the roof wasn't able to hold the chamber. So they actually did that to lighten the chamber, and then it's made it...
Noise.
It's made it better as far as the competitors go. And I know it looks a little bad with the padding that they now have on the outside over what was the steel. But at least you don't see it bend, because I'm sure the plastic and whatever it's made of now probably bends a little bit.
The bulletproof glass that was broken the first one.
Yeah. It's like Hell in a Cell. Like, you can't escape the... Oh, they escaped the cage.
Yeah.
Oh, they're on top of the cage on the very first one.
1.5 inch thick glass that bends like the plastic on a new toy
What was
package.
the line? It's bulletproof, but it's not Jericho proof.
Yeah.
He was the one that went through, right? This was the time where me and my friends were huge into RVD at this point.
Randy's favorite.
He's okay. But my friends were huge into RVD, and this was the time, Survivor Series, and I want to say it was the Rumble after, not the Rumble before, but Booker T eliminates him from the chamber and then eliminates him from the Royal Rumble. So Booker T was the least favorite person in my friend's circle, because he kept and he was my favorite because he was eliminating RVD. It was great. Like you said, match was really good, well put together, especially for a first one, and they weren't sure how to do it. The RVD doing the Spider-Man thing on the side of the cage and then breaking Triple H's throat.
Yeah.
And then for him to be able to finish that match, barely being able to breathe.
Yeah.
And then for them to change everything on the fly, because Triple H all of a sudden just couldn't wrestle, so they just kept him off to the side as much as possible till the end. Let him try to catch his bearings and find a way to finish is fantastic. It's things like that where you see who can really go and who can't. There was one chamber years ago where Mark Henry's pod broke, and they're like, oh shit, what do we do? So Henry came out, and the only guy that knew what he was doing was Dolph Ziggler. Unfortunately, Dolph Ziggler was really loud about telling the other people what to do, because they were lost. They're like, Mark Henry's out here. He's not supposed to be out here for 8 more minutes. Now what? And Dolph Ziggler tried to take reins and make it work. It's a really bad one.
But or an Undertaker got burned on his way to the ring and he had to stand in the damn chamber.
Oh, that's brutal.
I mean, You didn't even know about it unless you were probably standing there that he got scorched.
Yeah, you had no clue.
And
until the next day when he looked like he had mustard on his face.
Yeah, and you're like,
must have not have caught that one. I'll have to go back and.
It wasn't any of the ones that we watched, I don't think.
No.
But yeah, like the fire just caught him just right and scorched his shoulder, and he takes his coat off and gets to the chamber and stand. It might have been the last one in too, so he was just standing there, like 2nd-degree burns, and
yeah, it's brutal.
I'll have to go back and check that one out.
Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. This is the 3rd one ever. They had one at SummerSlam 2004.
3 or 4? 3.
3? Was it the next year?
Yeah.
You were probably right. New Year's Revolution, which was a new pay-per-view concept that went for a couple years, which was a pay-per-view right before the Rumble. It has happened in Coliseo de Puerto Rico in San Jose, Puerto Rico. I hope I didn't butcher that. On January 9th, 2005.
You did.
Probably. World Heavyweight Championship. You had Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Randy Orton, Batista, and your champion Triple H, who ends up winning the thing. And Shawn Michaels as a special ref. Goes 34 minutes, 55 seconds, and also gets 4.25 stars from Meltzer. Doof, what'd you think?
I thought it was really good. Mainly the subtle Triple H and Batista feud.
I just realized, Edge was in here too. I didn't write Edge down.
Oh yeah, but it was, just the unforgettable moment to me is when, I think it was when Orton hit Batista with the RKO or something like that, and Triple H is down in the corner and Batista's getting pinned, and he starts to get up, and then he drops back down again. Then to not say Batista.
Yeah.
And just that subtle little thing, you just knew it was going to be a fantastic feud, and that was still one of my best, or one of my favorite natural feuds that brewed, because the crowd wanted to see it, and they never touched each other until the contract signing for WrestleMania, and I think that was just very well done. Just that subtle thing, just put the whole match was really good.
Yeah,
but
and their matches were fantastic too.
Oh yeah.
Mania was okay, but their Hell in a Cell match was really, really good. What do you think?
This was another one of my favorites. I think looking at the two that started, I'm pretty sure it was Chris Jericho, Benoit. Those two, doesn't matter what kind of match you put them in, they can give you a 5-star classic, hands down. And those that there to me sold the beginning of the match, and then you said you get down to that subtle feud builder for Batista and Triple H. It's just it works.
Also set up Edge and Michaels. They had teased some stuff, and then Edge accidentally hits Michaels. Michaels gets mad, super kicks Edge, and he's eliminated. That sets up the match at the Royal Rumble, which was really good. It was a really nice piece of work, especially for the 3rd chamber, and the second one was not good at all. I think this one had the most storylines so far out of the ones we hit. Let's go No Way Out 2009, which I realized when writing this out, why didn't we go? It was in Key Arena in Seattle, Washington, probably because my son was 1 and I had 0 money. So February 15th, 2009, you had Mike Knox.
Duh.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio, Kane, Chris Jericho, your current champion John Cena, and the eventual winner Edge in 29 minutes, 46 seconds. And again, Meltzer gives it 4.25 stars because that's all he can give for Chambers. This one had Edge lose his title earlier in the night. First one eliminated in his chamber match. So Kofi Kingston's coming out. He just comes and hits him one time, and Kofi's dead.
He concertoed him on the step.
No, that's true. He did. Yeah. I did forget. So never mind. He hit him twice, but once was brutal. Hops himself in a pod, because that's what you do. It works in the Rumble. And ended up winning the whole damn thing. What'd you think? You like this more than I do. So.
I loved it a lot, because earlier in the night when he did lose, the crowd popped, but at the same time, I think it deflated him. Because Edge, obviously a heel, but people wanted to see more. They didn't want to see Jeff Hardy roll him up like he did. They wanted to see.
And it was so quick and random.
And so part of the match, obviously they know there's going to be a new champion, and obviously it's going to be Triple H. And it was still a good match, but then Edge comes back, and when Cena gets in, they do to Cena what happened to Edge, except Cena got his ass beat, 619 spear, and Jericho got him, and suddenly Cena's out, and the crowd is going insane. And so the same formula was done twice, but the second time it worked incredibly well. And we got down to Mysterio and Edge, and it was just good, awesome, and between those two, they never disappoint, and I just loved the whole setup, and Edge wins. I remember the next day at work, I think, Randy, you saw it live, and I asked, so who won that chamber match? And you said, you'll never guess, and I ran through the whole gamut, and I was like, wait a minute.
You even said Mike Knox, which is good.
Yeah, I was like, what, did Edge get in there or something? Yeah. Shit!
God. What do you think?
I think the way you were explaining it, the Edge roll up first makes sense though, because Edge was the champ, but at the same time you can't do all those things as you could to John Cena. Yeah. At that time, it was a point in Cena's career where it was 50-50 love-hate with him, and so for that to get that 50-50 reaction from the crowd, he had to get hit by everybody's stuff in order for that to work. So I think that made perfect sense for how he gets eliminated. But yeah, and then Edge winning that one, that's one of those roster changes where it makes sense because it's not, you get traded, you get, you win the belt legit somehow, and you make it in there, which worked for me.
And it fit perfectly with the character, the ultimate opportunist, and it worked out good. To me, the match, I think this was probably, to be fair to this match in particular, this was the time where we're probably 7 or 8 chambers in as far as watching, and it was when I really started noticing that they had a formula down where it was like their triple threat matches, where it's always just 2 guys in the ring and everyone else resting, and the problem or like Money in the Bank, where do your spot, get hit, go lay on the floor, which is fine, but the problem with the chamber is when you go to lay on the floor is the same level as the ring. Yeah. So you're seeing 3 guys laid out in view for 10 minutes, and then to get out. I think that's when I started noticing, I was like, I wish they would just do more. I know they want to be able to film it and have the focus on one thing each time, but it would be so nice just to have action all over that chamber.
What was like the 6-man Hell in a Cell? You had 2 guys in the ring, and then everybody else that was on the outside were still fighting. So you still had they'd have those extra camera shots to be, okay, this is what's going on here, but check out what's going on over here too.
Yeah, and that's when I started noticing Chamber doesn't do that.
One thing that did drive me nuts in watching all these, though, all right, let's say Kane's going up for a choke slam, and someone breaks it up.
Right.
Let him hit the goddamn choke slam.
Or breaks up a pin.
Yeah.
You see that a couple times.
Yeah, let Shane hit the choke slam on Mysterio, then Edge can hit a spear on Kane and pin both. There, boom. Oh, you break up, choke slam, now you're getting beat up.
Actually, there was a couple times, I want to say Edge was one of them, that you would see they would hit the move, and then Edge would hit that person with the move, and then pin either of them. It worked out good. Then they decided that the Elimination Chamber was so big that they would just name the pay-per-view after it. So Elimination Chamber 2011 for the World Heavyweight Championship on February 20th, 2011 at the Oracle Arena in Oakland, California. You had Wade Barrett, The Big Show, Rey Mysterio, Kane, Drew McIntyre, and your current champion Edge, who retains his title. 31 minutes, 28 seconds. Guess the rating.
I'm going to say 4 1/4
Good
stars.
job. 4 1/4 again for this one. It was good. Obviously, it was good. We put it in our top 6. I don't remember anything about this match.
No big spots.
Once again, it was down to Edge and Mysterio.
Yeah.
But, I remember Drew McIntyre because I am so glad he has a beard now. Because there's no way I can buy him as a badass with his 12-year-old face.
Nope.
But it was and Big Show is a surprise because if there's someone hurt, it's got to be the Big Show or Kane, and Kane was already in the match. So what do you know, Big Show. But I remember Mysterio. I think kicked out of a spear too. It was solid, entertaining all around. I didn't hate it, obviously, but it was, like you said, this will probably be our bottom one because it was just good. But
I honestly, we watched 15 or 20 of these things, probably fit around about 15 of them, and I rated it good after I watched it. I sitting here right now looking at this, I'm trying to remember anything, and I can't.
I got nothing. It was probably just one of those overall ones that just seemed fitting, that nothing disappointed, nothing too crazy.
All right, let's go Elimination Chamber 2018, which is sad that we took such a jump here. But it is for the number one contendership of the Universal title, February 25th, 2018, at the T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada. Got lost there for a second. And this one was different because there were 7 men in the ring. They started with 3 in the center around the 4 pods. So you had The Miz, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, John Cena, Elias, Braun Strowman, and your eventual winner, Roman Reigns. Goes 40 minutes and 8 seconds. Jim, I'll give you a guess on what Meltzer rated this one.
4 1/4?
Wrong. 3 3/4. I got you. I got you.
Bastard.
Yeah, this one actually to me was really good. Other than we all knew Reigns was winning to take on Lesnar, I think they broke this up into 3 parts really well. The opener with, what was it, Balor, Rollins, and Miz in the ring, which I think opened Mania that year, or was it the year before?
Probably
for the
was
IC
that
title.
Year.
I think it was that year.
Yeah.
Which we will get into in another video here soon. They had a fantastic start. Elias was hilarious, as all of them were like making fun of Elias while he's in the chamber, and then he's hiding in the chamber. I know Alexa Bliss did it earlier in the night, but that's not on this list. But so it was still a great heel tactic of, no, I'm just shutting the door, and then I'll peek out. Nope.
Well, because he was the last one to come out too.
Yeah.
So
because he won something on Raw.
Yep.
And then Strowman, just dominates and eliminates a ton of people. I think he eliminated 5.
Yep,
I think so.
And then the other part, of course, Reigns beating down the monster. I wish that would have went a little bit longer than it did. It just seemed like Reigns hit a couple spears and that was able to topple Braun, which I know they do that with a lot of Lesnar matches too, where Lesnar will get beat up and then F5 done.
I think it was a back and forth because the final 3 came down to Reigns, Strowman, and Rollins, and they both took turns putting their finishes on him.
Yeah,
and then they ended up. I think Reigns hit him with the final spear to pin him, and then Seth tries to come in with a stomp, and it just that back and forth goes for a while anyway. Because that was again one of the ones that everybody wanted to see. At that point, Dean was on his way out the door. I think he might have been gone by even at that point, or very close. And so just that Roman and Rollins, is that what it was? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like for me, I was enjoying it, but I was one of the people who liked Braun a lot more than I should.
Yeah.
Because I always thought, you know what, maybe they're gonna let Braun win this, and they didn't. But because I think Braun 2 years ago, if he was champ, it would have been totally legit and fine. But they just never pulled the trigger on him. And I think he was hotter than Roman at the time, obviously. And I think if he would have been the one to hit a power slam and eliminate Roman in that too, then it would have been a pretty good setup for Brock and Braun, and might not have been shit on so much by everybody, but it was good for what it was. I was soured a bit, obviously, by Braun, but it was still damn good all around, even for 40 minutes, because it doesn't feel like it.
No.
Because it was one of the longer ones that we watched, and just as much action as they had in it, it flew by pretty good.
Yeah, Braun's one of those guys that he was through the moon for so long.
Yeah.
And they kind of just turned him into a gimmick. Like, we'll have you tip over an ambulance and tip over this and to show crazy strength instead of... Because he was fine in the ring other than kneeing Brock Lesnar and then getting potatoed. Which I love the fact that they went backstage and went, that was great. And totally were cool with it, which was fantastic. Let's go to last year's Elimination Chamber, which was for the WWE Championship at the Toyota Center on February 17th, 2019 in Houston, Texas. You had Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and your current champion and winner, Daniel Bryan. 36 minutes and 35 seconds and gets 4.5 stars by Meltzer, which is the highest one we have on here. Obviously, this is a story of Kofi getting Ali's spot through injury, having the gauntlet match to figure out who was the last man in the week before, where Kofi went like an hour in that before Orton ended up sneaking the win. And then Kofi going down to the final 2 with Bryan, and they put on a good show. This is a really, really good chamber match, not just for action, but for storytelling.
Yeah, because it was like when like even a year prior, if it would have been Kofi in the final two, you'd have been like, oh, neat, cool. I wonder who's going to win this one. But in this year's, all of a sudden it gets down to Bryan and Kofi, and Bryan's such a good champ, and Kofi was catching fire just because of the gauntlet match that everyone's thinking, are they going to let Kofi get it? Because I was buying all the near falls. Like when he first kicked out of that knee, I was thinking this could be it, that Kofi's actually going to win it. But of course, doesn't, but it still turns into the greater WrestleMania story in the end. Yeah. But yeah, it was outstanding. But I was one of the few people who loved how Orton won the final spot, though.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, because Kofi goes over an hour, and then...
AJ ended up beating Kofi.
Yeah.
And then instant RKO.
Yeah, then he comes in, boom, win. I'm in. Sweet.
He's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, again, another one of those fantastic build-ups to Mania. Couldn't have done it any better. Daniel Bryan and Kofi coming down to the final two. Just... superb storytelling.
I think it also redeemed the last time Daniel Bryan was in the final two, and it was against Santino. For some reason, the crowd thought Santino was going to win.
I did. I wanted it. Actually, I wanted him to win the Rumble.
Yeah.
I still say, I mean, I know Rumble gets a title match at WrestleMania. It's not main event anymore. But you have 2 months, and you have a pay-per-view or two in between. And we've seen people put up their shot.
Yep.
At those pay-per-views. Just have a kooky person win the Rumble once. Though, I mean, they did have... I mean, you look at some of the winners, and they ended up not meaning anything. So you can have... If Santino would have won that 40-man Rumble, it'd be way more remembered than Alberto Del Rio winning it.
Yeah.
It would have been fantastic. All right, now we get the fun of ranking these. And we said...
11's probably the one.
11 was the bottom. I need my list back, so I forget who's what. So Chamber 2011 at the bottom. You like No Way Out more than me. Yeah, Edge winning with McIntyre and stuff. I would have No Way Out 5th.
The one
Edge snuck in.
Yeah.
And won. I don't know what you guys think.
I like that one probably right in the middle, maybe like 4 or 3, just because the storyline, like we said.
I think it's between that one and 2018 Chamber.
Yeah.
I almost think that order right there is about right to me.
Yeah. Chamber 5th and No Way Out 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay, then the fun.
Yeah, I know
these top 3 are the really, really hard ones. Mm-hmm. Survivor Series 2002, the original. New Year's Revolution 2005 with the whole Triple H, Batista, and Orton thing. And last year's Rumble. Jesus. I'm so excited for tonight. The last year's Chamber with Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, I almost want to say 02 3rd. It almost seems unfair because to me it didn't hold up as well, but at the same time it was the first.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
Well, I'm honestly okay with that because if you look at the 2 oldest ones, I like New Year's Revolution a lot more.
Yeah.
And then this last year was really good.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I think 19 should be first. Just because that build the Kofi thing in my books was it's the greatest culmination of what could have come out of the Elimination Chamber at that point.
I always like the angles coming out of both of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, you set up Kofi Mania really well.
So is it up to me then, since he said 05 and he said 19?
Yep.
All right, cool. I gotta go 05 because Batista Triple H, that was one of my favorite feuds ever when it first started.
The wrestling was really good. Of course, like you said, started with Benoit and Jericho, and they had a great thing. The whole Edge-Michaels interaction was great, and you set up a couple WrestleMania matches, and you set up a Royal Rumble match, and that was fantastic. Chamber 2019 was part of the start of Kofi Mania, and we all enjoyed that ride immensely.
Thanks, Fox.
And the match was good. Obviously, I mean, as far as the in-ring action, a lot of fantastic talent in there. So either one could go one. I'm glad you agreed with me, but it's 1A, 1B right now.
Yeah,
we'll see where the Chamber appears here in 2020 because it doesn't look like there's an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view this year. So we'll see where they decide to slot it in if they do.
Well, they did sneak one in a couple years ago when they did the tag team one.
Oh,
They just kind of snuck in at random. They just, here's where we're gonna do it, and it was almost like a house show that they popped up in.
Horrible.
It was in like Des Moines or like some podunk town, like their house show turned into Elimination Chamber.
I love the fact that.
Well, they do that with Starrcade anymore now, and it's like, are you kidding me? That was one of the biggest things back.
I love the fact that they had all 3 members of the New Day stuck in a
pod. Oh
yeah. Anyways, our final list: Elimination Chamber 2011 is 6th, and 5th Elimination Chamber 2018. 4th is No Way Out 2009. The original Survivor Series 2002 is 3rd. The Elimination Chamber in 2019 is 2nd. And New Year's Revolution in 2005 is number 1 because Triple H is our God and Savior and he wins. That's how it works, right?
You're welcome, Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah, I got to get him to watch the show somehow. Yeah. All right. So we will be back next week with another edition of the Work Shoot Alliance where we'll rank something. We'll find out. See you then.
Yes.
Bye.